Welcome to my beer after work chat. I hope you guys really understand how much I appreciate y'all and how much I enjoy your company because I've had to turn off my air conditioner to perform this live stream. So, depending on how long this goes for, there's going to come a time where I'm basically sweating and I'm hot. It was balls hot today. Anybody see that? A lot of New Yorkers looks like in here, except clearly Michigan Outpost 231 in Pennsylvania preparedness. What's going on, y'all? Samurai Viking Lumberjack, that's my dude. Know him personally. Southern Tier Prepper Teresa. Hi, Teresa. All right. Look at all you people showing up for this, and I hope you see what you're looking at. What you're seeing here is a dumpster fire. So this little thumbnail that is on your screen right now is a real metaphor for what you're probably gonna encounter in the process of this live stream. I'm what I'm doing is I'm fucking around waiting for more folks to join us. Pardon me. Not only is it balls hot here. Hold on, give me 1 second here. Hey, hi guys, how are you? Not only is it balls hot here, it's very dry. It's like the Wild West, but it's the East. Killing me. And part of most of my responsibilities in the summertime involve mowing huge tracts of land. Okay, huge tracts of land. And I'm just on this mower, just eating all the shit that flies out of the thing all day. It's in every, and I mean every orifice. All right, I am human compost. All right, Soylent Green is me. It's not a beer, I know. I got some on tap, but I started out with this because it's refreshing. I have no plan. I have no script. I have no co-host. I even pushed this stupid chair out of my set. Get this bullshit out of here. You know who I'm talking about. Scruffy looking gray man that I hang out with from time to time. And what I wanted to do, let's see who else is here now. We got anybody new? Greenleaf, what's good? Hello, Foxfire. Always loved her name. You guys ever read those Foxfire books? You should. It's how you the original survival manual is basically how to pioneer. Like you're gonna hit the Oregon Trail. You should read the Foxfire books because this is how you build civilization where there isn't one for like 1800s kids. Rum Runner, what's going on? How's everybody doing? All right, this is my live stream. I might not touch so much on all this prepping and survival shit you guys are way into. Maybe that's why you're here. Something different. I'm going to put a little salt and pepper on the same old shit and see if you guys still like it. So I wanted to lead off to give you an idea of where I feel like going tonight. And I was hoping that old Tank Houston would show up because he could corroborate this story. So when I first moved to the house that I live in presently, I don't like the way this camera looks. What is it? Is it too low? How's that? Yeah. I first moved to the house. We were respectful. I mean, I got like a whole bunch of like space. It was new to us. We kind of lived in a very much smaller place. And we got this house and there's like bedrooms and the kitchen and bathrooms and shit. I mean, dude, we never really made it out to the garage. And when we did, we cleaned up the downstairs of, the garage part of it. And it's got this loft over it. We never went up there. I don't care what's up there, And one day we got it, it's all cool. What's just going on up there? We had shit we wanted to put up there. So as we're digging around, and I'm like, oh, cool, because a lot of the doorknobs in the house were like old and loose and just sucked, and I kind of wanted to put new ones that had locks on them because we have roomies and stuff too. Lo and behold, there's I look in this duffel bag thing that's sitting there. It's got the thing like the Clark Griswold thing. You pull it down, it hits you in the face. You climb up the ladder and get stuck in the attic and fall through the ceiling. You guys know what I'm talking about. So as I'm standing on this ladder thing, I look right there, and there's this bag, and there's a freaking box. It's like a doorknob in a box, full assembly, just drop in. I'm like, oh, cool. So as I dig through the box, there's a second one. I'm like, yeah, dude, they put the doorknobs in the bag for me. Got doorknobs in boxes that are in a bag. This is cool. So as I'm digging through the box, I say, hey, what we ended up finding was apparently somebody went on wish.com or something and bought OnlyFans starter kit or something. It is in this bag, and so there's this racy lingerie and some tools and toys, and or depending on how you look at it, either or. And so there's just like this whole bag, this whole kit of this stuff. And of course, me and Tank Houston got to go outside and yell and make a lot of noise and have a really good laugh over this, because we were quickly able to deduce that it belonged to like the person that used to live here, who now really didn't live so far away, and we were really really hoping that he was going to like somehow hear like us across the neighborhood that we had found his little bag of tricks, if you will. But I mean, this was amazing, and my whole thing was like, that's the wrong knobs, dude. And then so we used the doorknobs because I needed them, but then it dawned on me, like, why were the doorknobs in that particular kit? Wrong knob, dude. It's not the right knob. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of shit that happens to me, man. I was growing up on the mean streets of Hudson, New York, talking about like very late 80s, but more or less like the early to mid 90s. You know what I mean? Like coming to my formative years. Went to John L. Edwards Elementary School, which is not even there no more, but that place is teeming with fallout shelters, man. The whole school is built like into the side of this hill, and it only presents like the face on the backside of the hill, and the whole thing is built into the hillside underneath it. It's a pretty dope building. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. They'll probably make a fucking art gallery or something. Cool building though. I went to school there, all the way up to like what, sixth grade, and then I went to Germantown Central. They learn how to do math there, but they don't really know how to read. So I was like the best of both worlds. I came from Hudson, like I knew how to read and shit. And they were like, wow. Came a legend, so much so that I left that place and founded a town called Livingston. That's where I reside to this day. A history you heard about its fate. Um, the Livingston clan, Livingston family, that Livingston legend, it all started with me. All that stuff in the history books, I made that up. I wrote that. They were like cite sources. I was like, it was told to me in a dream. It's what had happened. Just reading some comments here real quick. Hello, everybody. I get going. I can't read the comments and talk at the same time. I can't talk and talk at the same time, let alone read and do it at the same time. Read out loud? Yeah, grow up. What is this? You ever do that in school? Christ, I guess we're getting nostalgic here. Here's we'll go here. When you used to have to read out loud, like you'd have to follow along, like, and then like you're trying to keep up with someone else's narration, but then like you'd find yourself wandering around or like way ahead, and they'd call on you, and all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, and you're like, and you're like, yeah, that'll be lunch detention, Mister Livingston. I'm like, fuck you, like God, well, because I was fucking 10 pages ahead of everybody else, but I'm the bad guy, all right. How about what if old freaking doesn't know how to, alliterate off the page? Just why you do this to them? It's not about me. Why you do this to them? I listen. So they're having trouble reading. You don't put them on blast in front of everybody. Like it's like me. Like, oh, you really really suck at the guitar. You should go play a concert just to remind yourself how much you suck. And they do that. And now I just think they gave up on teaching kids how to read. And I argue that you almost don't you should know how to read. But in the context of conversation, would say you might not necessarily need to know how to. Depending on whether some sort of digital device can text to speech for you, or maybe you got a good friend who can help you out with that or something. But I swear, like, being able to read is going to be something some people can do and that other people don't, and it's not going to really be a thing until all the electric shit stops working. And then all of a sudden, the folks that don't know how to read are going to have to try to remember how to do it or something. I often wonder, like, why you can't read a book, but people can read social media. It always bothered me. Like, how can you post and comment, but like you can't read Shakespeare? I don't get it. All right, Greenleaf is explaining why. I think we were talking about perpetual energy or something like that. We were saying why, if I remember right, we wanted to know why if he didn't just put an alternator on the wheel of his electric bike, if he couldn't just then charge it while it was moving. But there's like a thing about that, and it's either that it can't work. Science says it just can't work, and I think it can. And I think that every time somebody figures it out, they like They don't exist no more. All right, like I bet you that guy really did invent a carburetor that got 100 miles to a gallon, and like the executives showed up like some men in black. So you be telling people that stuff, sir. I think that other times, though, I think people give the government and the Illuminati and whoever else, they give them way too much credit. People think chemtrails are supposed to become some kind of secret. It's just that they're not. People want to like hem and haw, like, well, what's in them, and why are they doing it, and this and that thing. Well, I think what they're doing is it's weather control. I'm pretty sure what you're seeing is them seeding the clouds. They may also be implementing that idea they had where if they block out the sun, they can somewhat control the heating of the planet. There's numerous patents for this technology, all the way back to probably the first like well-documented witnesses by like a lot of people. Event of this is when they seeded the clouds over the original Woodstock festival. Like in the festival goers saw them like planes, like doing weird stuff, and then it rained for like 3 days. And it's thought that they were perhaps trying to mud them out. They were trying to get them to disperse. If you just make it rain, turn the whole shit to mud, and it sucks, they'll all leave. But then they didn't. But this technology was also used in Cambodia and Vietnam, along with Agent Orange. They had all this herbicidal warfare and climate weather warfare they were trying to do. They were either trying to flood or drought the Vietnamese rice supply. And when that didn't work, they sprayed the entire jungle with basically like military grade weed killer. They're not doing that to anybody anymore except for like us, for benign purposes. Like I said, they're trying to make it rain. They're trying to balance the weather out. And I think it's obvious because anymore it's like clockwork on a calendar, almost like first of the month basis. They're like, turn it up hot, summer now. And it just, yikes, up it goes. Tank Houston, I think you missed the story, and I'm just going to say, remember when we found the box of doorknobs in the attic of the garage? You know what I'm talking about. So climate control is a thing. That's what they're doing. I can't speak to and don't know about what are the long-term effects of spraying some of these alleged chemicals and metals in the air. Nothing good, never is. Every blessing is a curse in disguise with these people. What was for the good of humanity, 20 years ago, it was like, wow, that was a really big mistake, dude. Like in the shit that they don't talk about more, like that Johnson's baby powder scandal. Like, remember, we was all raised with that shit, swaddled in the Johnson's baby powder. They were like, Jesus Christ, that was bad for everybody. Just went away. And then Johnson & Johnson's dog ass got wrecked on the baby powder scandal, millions and millions and millions of dollars, pushing $1 billion. They suddenly got the cure for the thing that happened here. They got the way around that. All of a sudden, here comes Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and the other guy there, Pfizer, Mrs. Doubt's Pfizer. And all of these guys had gotten in big trouble and like had to pay a lot of money to, I don't know who, all that money went, probably on Ukraine or something, I guess. But all these companies got huge fines, big lawsuits. You were bad, Bayer and them, all of them. And then all of a sudden, they're the ones that swoop in with the salvation of humanity in the form of their little spike you get, and like recoup that loss instantly. But I'm not supposed to question that, so I guess we won't. That's what I mean. Some conspiracies can be realistic, and other ones I think are for benign purposes that will end up being malignant. It's not always some wicked agenda to make you suffer. Most of the time it is. All right, yeah, but not always. Okay, and what you can do, I heard this guy say it. My man Johnny Mac from Hudson. As a matter of fact, I don't know, he probably uses some handle here. He posted this thing, and the guy said, instead of asking, why me, why not me? I've been doing this. Might as well just go get it. I'm usually one to make fun of those inspirational, positive quote shits. But that one actually, like, you never heard the story of why I ate 3 men? It was the guy told me no balls. The first one, it was just happenstance encounter at a Wild West saloon long about how to be early in the days of the frontier, and I was there. And there was a conversation about what do you do if you're stranded in the Rocky Mountains, and of course the Donner Party was a recent event at the time, and it was the talk of the town. Everybody, how could they eat each other? How could they do that? And I said, I was like, well, you got to do what you got to do when. I don't suppose these people wanted to do that, but their will to live, their will to survive was strong enough to go goblin mode, right? I'm certain that these people were not enjoying their time. And then this dude steps up and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I'd like to see you eat a person. And so I fucking did, like right there in front of everybody. And this other dude like jumped on me, tried to stop me. So I ate him too. And then the bartender I'd seen too much at this point. And he didn't even deserve it, but it had to happen. And yeah, it was in seconds, it was over. And they remember me. That's why I got town named after me. I did stand trial. I was ruled not guilty it was self-defense is what they found. But he said no balls. And once they say no balls, you're obligated to do it. I would have broke the law by not eating that man when he said no balls. That's like equivalent to a gunfight. I'm supposed to take the shot and just die? No. Big iron on my hip. It was a steak knife is what. Not the greatest taste in the world. Those old pioneers are like soaked in like fucking tobacco and like rot gut liquor. But I had to prove a point. The metabolism comes from all the cigarettes and Red Bull that I generally just consume a lot. And Kevlar is right, is that a little barbecue sauce, Frank's Red Hot, I don't care. Mayonnaise with long pig, I think that's gross. I don't think mayonnaise belongs with red meat. I think mayonnaise is a poultry thing. Like, ew. I just don't like, oh, man. Okay. Sometimes, all right, you know what? I'll take it back. Sometimes I'll put some mayonnaise on like the hamburger. That's where I draw the line. No, do not put mayonnaise on a roast beef. They invented mustard for that. Please. You should blame Reagan for just about anything that exists. Issues that exist today can go all the way back to Ronald Reagan. Now, I saw a meme, and I'm not going to quote its veracity, and I'm not going to cite sources, because this ain't a book report. But I saw an internet meme that claimed that actually it was Obama did more for gun rights than Ronald Reagan did. Oof, man, I could hear the collective rage from here, but I don't really care about gun control. I'm like, I just don't, like, whatever. I'm a Darwinist in that regard. No matter what your hobby is, no matter what you get off on in life, loud cars, loud guitars, freaking loose women, gambling, drinking, whatever hobby you have, somebody's not going to like it. And some quote unquote, the proverbial asshole is going to ruin it for everybody else. I just lump the whole gun rights thing in with that. It's just another aspect of being an American where, yes, some people don't know how to fucking act. Some people ruin it for everybody. Some people are the reason we have these stupid fucking laws. And of course, as the person that obeys them, you feel like you're the one getting stepped on. Well, then just to really simplify it is, have you tried not feeling that way? At the end of the day, you can choose to obey the law as much as the so-called criminals do. And if the more laws they make, the more criminals they create. So disregard all that shit. Do what's right and don't worry about what's legal, because they're almost never the same thing. I like that. I finally got to the point. See, Thank you for sticking with me. 16 concurrent viewers. What else is going on? Mustard is sacrilegious on roast beef. Come on, man. Mr. I don't like mac and cheese said that. I'm going to take him seriously. Mustard on poison ivy. Okay, I'll think about that. Now, is that the vinegar or the mustard itself? Like, what's up with that? Is this some, what's the word? Homeopathic remedy? Is that it? Like some sort of pioneer shit? 300,000 laws on the books. And, you know, one of the things was supposed to be, I think Thomas Jefferson said something akin to the laws should never become so voluminous that the average person can't understand them. Because they have done that. And then also what they've done is this doctrine of ignorance of the law is no excuse. You can't say, I didn't know that was against the law. Well, it's your duty as a citizen to know 300,000, like be a lawyer on top of a fucking minimum wage fast food worker. You were supposed to know that some obscure bullshit that some lobbyist paid to have passed was now illegal, sir. Not my problem. You're going downtown, Antifa, you rabble rouser. They literally got laws like you're not allowed to parade your whale in Kentucky and shit. And what that means is that happened once. Somebody paraded a whale through Kentucky, and then somebody else didn't like it. And they were like, never again. Go ahead, parade your whale through Kentucky. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. You want to see a crackdown SWAT team? They'll make Waco, Texas look like a fucking circus. Bring your whale to Kentucky. Watch what they do. You know why? Because one guy didn't like it and had enough money to make it. So that can't do that. Government is like housing like associations, you know what I mean? That HOA shit on like a federal, national level. There's like this bunch of douchebags telling you like you can't trim your fucking hedge like that. Ayn Rand, huh? Yardbirds is quoting the true philosophers out here. You guys don't read the that sort of stuff. You should, because I don't know if you noticed. If you watch the mainstream media, you read the news, or you get your you stay up on things. Well, history is repeating itself. We're doing 2016 rewind here, and a little 2020-ish vibe mixed in with it. Personally, on social media, I found that if I post something or, like say something that has like an opinion, like at all, and it doesn't matter what it is, it just gets buried and really nobody sees it. I think that Zuckerberg in particular was like, I am not getting blamed for either Donald Trump or Joe Biden becoming president this time. You know what? The only things I'm going to let people see on my motherfucking platform is like food, cats, and like help shit, like positive vibes, bro. Like ain't none of it. Go ahead and post something about Trump or Biden. Have a strong opinion about Pride Month. Go ahead, post your political in any regard opinion and watch nobody like it. It's not because nobody likes it, it's because nobody sees it. That's what they're doing now. It's not censorship. It's I ain't fucking with y'all no more. And here's what happens with freedom of speech, where some assholes ruin it for everyone else. If you give people absolute freedom of speech, it ends up turning to what they call hate and extremism. If you take away too much freedom of speech, it's censorship. It's control. People don't like that either. But what it is honestly that people can talk mad shit with more or less impunity, virtual impunity on the internet. You can just talk your shit. You can say the most outrageous things. You can say the most outrageous, racist, bigoted, horrible, morbid, whatever, shocking, disturbing fucking thing that you want to say. And not get like a physical rebuttal. You know what I'm saying? A physical rebuttal for it. And like, too many people have let that like sort of become the filter that they live by. And like, so even when you're in public and somebody starts acting the fool, being a Karen or whatever, rather than give them the physical gift. It's this. Like you reverse internet them. People don't even care. They don't care. They'll live stream themselves doing heinous, horrible shit. What it boils down to is society is just simply no longer civil, polite, um, like at all. It's either like, I love you, bro, or like, fuck you, man. And there's really no gray areas. You know, I straight up judge people. I judge people by the car they drive, right? I am petty, all right? Like, change my name to Tom because I'm petty, bro. I see a Tesla and I'm immediately like, fuck that person, you know? And it's not the car, it's their fan base. Like Bernie Sanders, like actually has good ideas, but his fans suck, and you're like, I will not be associated with these people. Kind of the thing. Like the idea, all right, progress doesn't happen in leaps and bounds. You don't just come from the gasoline age and all of a sudden have perfect electric vehicles that never have anything wrong with them and they work just perfect and we never have to change them at all. We got to wait. And with society, we are ingratiated to this instant gratification thing. I mean, at best, when Amazon was killing it, you could order something early enough in the morning and possibly get it like that day. We got mad used to that. Everything's instant. You can't wait no more. You can have just about whatever you want right now. Society needs to slow down. Like, when you go back 100 years, like, people didn't give a fuck. Like, they got the news from China, like, 2 weeks later, and only if it was cool enough that anybody gave a shit. Or you got to wait for, like, the letters to come. They would drive them across the Atlantic on the Titanic. Dearest Hildebrand, how much I miss you. You ever read, like, a letter from the Civil War, dude? My dearest Clementine. The stars shine upon me tonight beneath this mist of fog on the grassy fields of Gettysburg. I have no comparison to the beauty of your smile and the bonnet in your hair. And you see some dumb shit they write today. Hey, yo, bae, do it grip or some, you know what I mean? All right, society is fucking done going backwards, and I'll tell you what used to do was calm them down. Why those letters are so eloquent, why people used to write the way they did. It was the only thing they had to do. At the end of the day, you would, take your journal or diary, depending on your chosen gender, and you would write down like what happened today, how you felt about it, what you thought about it, and preserve that. And in some cases, like, you pass that down to like the next of kin. Maybe not so much in a oral tradition, right? Like the indigenous folks and First Peoples would pass down their traditions orally, like through storytelling. Well, here is the same thing. Like, this is my life experience in a book. This is what I came up against and what I did to deal with it. Maybe this will help you on your way. Nobody does that anymore either. At best, our coming up generation has been left to learn everything from, well, people like me with a YouTube channel who, may or may not be manipulating them, may or may not be telling the truth or even speaking factually. School is still apparently just on this mission to drive home some sort of basic education, and which at the core of that statement, basic education. I like that idea. Let's get you a little bit of everything so you can more or less function. After that, they should split you off. Like, some of y'all going to be politicians, some of y'all going to be doctors, and the other 70% of y'all going to be laborers, but let's get you into trade school so you can learn how to do that properly. And then let things flow from there. Problem with the current education system is it turns out these drones who have been they tried to teach them a little bit of everything, but they don't know a lot about anything. But then they're like, what do you want to do? And then whatever it is that they want to do, because higher education, college, university, this sort of thing, became business. It has to, it must be. With understanding toward operating costs and that nothing's free, right? But when I find out like that, big Ivy League colleges and stuff are playing the stock market with money and fucking with hedge funds and profiting and making loot, that disturbs me because now what this is that classic the superintendent's driving a brand new Mitsubishi, but like air conditioners don't work and stuff. School, whether it's underfunded or they just don't have people to do the job right. Uh, Boards of education are elected people who set the policy and have a say in curriculums. So these are things you got to get involved with. Like a lot of people get big mad because they're teaching their kids stuff in school that they don't agree with. Well, then you got to run yourself for that seat on the board of education and state these views, or you got to hit the street and drum up votes for the person who is running, who's going to state that view for you, a representative, if you will. And at the local level, government works because it's small. It's generally people you know. The worst kind is when they're people you don't know. That's when you got to fix that. People who are natives of your town, people who are born in your town, people who live there, should obviously be the ones representing the town and not weekenders and fair weather citizens. You know what I mean? It boils down to you. And the bigger government gets, as soon as you get to more or less the state level, it turns into this aristocracy, corrupt bullshit, honestly, where it's in their best interest to really never get anything done. Because all they got to do is when election time comes around again and say, we're still working on this initiative or this effort to combat this thing, or whatever. And with another, 4 years, we could really get it done, but it's not there. But if you ever finish the job, then it might be said that, well, you got done what you came to do and it's time to go. So what they do is they just don't ever get anything done. So they got to stay. Hence Congress and even probably your state government being dominated by what, like retiree status, age bracket people. Not to be said that older folks can speak from experience. In the case of the United States government, these folks' experience is irrelevant to most of us. What they are doing is speaking from a tower of privilege down to people whose way of life they have no idea of, they are completely ignorant of. It's got to change before America can change, and it can be done peacefully, even with civility, is to both sides turn snarky when it comes to defending their political views. It turns into a shouting match, it turns into name calling, it turns into straw man arguments and all the other sort of logical fallacies that come out in debates. Somebody says, well, I just think, maybe a form of socialism would be like oh, so you like bread lines and the Holocaust, huh? That's the false equivalence. All this, because people don't actually, what we fail at every single time is we don't speak up the good of ourselves, but instead we talk up the bad about the other guy. It's not about me. Like, well, what do you stand for? Well, not what my opponent stands for. Well, what does he stand for? I don't know, because that's not what I stand for. And well, and who are you? Not my opponent. I can tell you that. So I am not is him. I am not him. Do you do anything good? Yeah, whatever he does, good. I do it better. He doesn't do anything good though. That's all political. It's all smear campaigns. It's all some guy or girl that thinks they know better or has a real specific interest, like in mind, that they just want to get it done and catch a paycheck by moving to town, throwing a bunch of money and signs around. You guys know how I love election signs. Now the loser never picks them up. That's always funny. It starts with us people that actually live in the places that we're from. We always pull this lame argument. I don't have time for that. I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. But then you sit back and At that point, you don't get to complain. No working class, normal fucking person is ever going to be president. Okay? Never. Can't. It's fucking literally designed that you can't. But you can be mayor of your town. You could be highway supervisor. You could get, as long as you're popular, say things that make sense. And then if elected, do them with cooperation and respect for everyone. That's the way to do it. Nobody does it. They name call, align themselves with some other person. Like, I don't need to hear like my local fire chief like expressing his fucking undying devotion to President Trump. It's irrelevant to the fucking position. I don't need to hear it. I don't need you to say it. Do you know how to fight a fire? Awesome. All I need from people. Used to say, there were some things you just didn't talk about in public that, again, if the internet is public, then let's call it public. You didn't talk about religion. You didn't talk about sports. You didn't talk about politics. And you didn't talk about how much money you made in public. It kept society polite. You didn't accidentally talk down or up to somebody because you just simply didn't know. How you doing, sir? You ever played Red Dead Redemption 2, the most violent, terrifically horrible, fucking tragic comedy of a video game ever, and still you hit that X button, homie's like, how you doing, sir? Good day to you, sir. Everybody's polite. Motherfuckers, they didn't know. They strapped guns on them. Maybe that had to do something with the politeness, I guess. Thanks for coming out, Rum Runner. I'm sorry I'm not reading the comments. I'm killing it right now. Preaching the gospel of Livingston, okay? Livingston 10:13. Don't ever leave a man to witness you eat two other men. He's gonna fucking rat, dude. He's like, no, I'll tell your story. I'll tell your story. I was like, I'll tell my story, okay? Because nobody believes it. And that's it. So he goes running into town panicking, all the bite marks on him. He tried to eat me. People, they'd be like, fucking, hey, they put me on the gallows. They'd say he ate those guys. But when I tell people I did it, they're like, who would admit to that? Oh, that's these full of shit. He didn't eat nobody. Think what you want. You weren't there. I was thinking to myself, I don't even have mods, but I do. I got one. My man Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival is here. If you somehow don't know that, like, we work together, actually, you know, I live at Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival as well with my friend Mike. You should subscribe and like that channel, although I can't imagine any of you are here from anywhere other than there. So I'll give you a plug anyway, boss. These cigarettes with the anti-burn chemicals in them. You know, if you put it out in the ashtray, it'll burn for 24 fucking hours, but hold it in your hand for 15 seconds and it goes out. I don't get it. What we want to do is take matters into our own hands politically. I always thought it would be the funniest thing in the world for someone like me to run an actual campaign and, God forbid, get elected. Because this is going to be fucking good. It wouldn't be. I would not act the way I do on YouTube in government, but I would attempt to like make sense of issues, and I would attempt to really do something about getting them done. My favorite president was Calvin Coolidge because he didn't want to be president and was a bit disdainful of the fact that he was like nominated by his party to do it, and because he was nominated by his party, he felt it was his civic duty to serve in this position. He tried to get things done. He didn't talk a bunch of shit. He wouldn't talk at all. A reporter bet him one time. He's like, Cal, I put $20 down and said I'd get you to say 3 words. And he said to him, he said, you lost. You know, he never spoke. I think he gave like a speech or 2 ever. And when they asked him, are you going to run again? Back then, you could run for 3 terms if you wanted. I don't know if there was even term limits. And if there was, maybe it was 4. You're going to run for a 3rd term? He's like, no, I don't want to be here no more. I did what I came to do, and it's time to go. We need more people like that all the way through government. I've done what I came to do, and it's time to go. Perhaps these older politicians look down on us pitiful masses, and they don't see anyone willing to or able to carry the torch. Maybe nobody lives up to their idea of what the ruling class should be. And though I can empathize that perhaps from their privilege and ignorance, that's what they think. But I think that in a country that fought a revolution against a monarchy and an aristocracy, that viewpoint should have been unacceptable from the beginning. The people sitting in those big white buildings north of Richmond have forgotten what they're there to do, what it means to be there, and have never been told, or at best have forgotten, what civic duty and public service means. They're not serving the public, not a one of them. I don't care who your favorite one of them is and how cool you think they are. They're serving themselves there. If you knock down Congress's salary to minimum wage of the state they represent, no one would run for that fucking office. But because of the perks and the power and the prestige, people want to go there. I don't care how pure and honest and altruistic their message is on their way there. Their innocence gets robbed right out of them. It's as if some supernatural curse takes their soul right out of their chest when they take that oath of government. All of them. They decide, wait a second, so we can just vote and get a pay raise? And they're like, yeah. Like, well, can we do that now? They're like, welcome to the club. I don't care how fiery and firebrandy and anti-establishmentarian you were on your way there. As soon as they dangle on steak dinners and pretty girls and Epstein Island trips and all the fun shit, you forgot where you came from and you don't care to remember. And I say that to anyone that would choose that position. If you want to be there, I don't think you should be, is my thing. I'm not anti-government. I'm anti the people who have set up shop there and won't leave. I can't. I'm tired of, and this celebrity government. It's like watching the WWE. Like, who's going to be a heel this week? And this fucking Fetterman guy. This dude started talking like they ran him. They ran him after he had a serious medical incident. Shouldn't have even been on the campaign trail. Probably shouldn't have been walking around. Should have took a minute and got better. They ran him. He's out there giving the thumbs up, wearing his gym shorts and his Carhartt shirt, being the good Democrat, doing what he's told, getting led around. And as he's recovered, this dude starts making more and more sense. I think they thought they could control him, and apparently as he recovers more, he starts smarter and smarter. The Democrats played filthy games. The Republicans do the same thing, but under a different logo, more or less. It's all bullshit by rich people that has all the effect on you, not them. Well, of course, we all know that one of them loves to loudly proclaim, no one is above the law. But every time somebody appears to be above the law, it's always one of them. It's always funny to me when they say that. It's called hypocrisy, and they both do it. It's disgusting. How do you change it? Go out in your community and be friendly and cool. Maybe have some good ideas about what you could change and fix that are for everybody, not just yourself. Mount a campaign and get yourself elected and make the changes and work with the people of your town to make it what everybody wants. And then maybe that model could spread to counties and then states and then, God forbid, at least half the country. And I think that's the best we can really wish for. No matter the issue, the country's split in half, 51-49. Whatever the issue, that's it. Half the people plus that tie-breaking person they roll out when they need to. I do think that, America as we know it will have an ideological schism. I don't necessarily think it'll be violent. It just depends on who intends to impose their will on the other half, with all that implies. Whoever would declare war to impose their views is an oppressor. I don't care if let's say America split right down at the Mississippi, right? And all the Republicans went to the west of the Mississippi and all the Democrats were on the east of the Mississippi. For one of them to take over or attack the other for their views makes them the aggressor and makes them the problem. If half the people say no, why would you shove it down their throat? A lot of people don't like alternative, lifestyles such as, transgenderism, and I hope that's not an offensive word, homosexuality, even drug use, homelessness, all this other thing. But if it's not bothering you particularly or threatening you, you simply don't believe on it. Okay, their alleged political voodoo doesn't work on you. What's it matter if they speak it then? Only a person who is afraid of what is going to be said wants to silence and erase people. It boils down to fear. And what is there for you to be afraid of? If you're so convinced and convicted in your beliefs, then who cares what that guy says if it's nonsense? Let him talk his shit. Let him look stupid. But what people fear is that other people will listen to that alternative thing, and then other people will start to do the thing that they personally don't agree with. And then they need to feel a way to make a stand about it. When it really just boils down to minding your own business. Now, both of you now. Nobody likes having really anything thrown in their face and rammed down the proverbial throat. And everybody plays some kind of oppressed victim in this regard. But they provoke themselves with it. Like a perfect example, like that guy who you go to the store around the holiday season and you get that one guy who feels the need to say Merry Christmas, almost like in a hostile tone, like just to see how corporate has instructed this low-paid laborer to respond. And then when they're like, Happy Holidays to you, sir, so because they're not allowed to fucking offend people because they work for a giant corporation. Look at it, can't even say it, can't even recognize my religious beliefs. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, then I see you're the throat rammer now. You're the throat rammer. Same with the LGBTQ community. When you can't act surprised when you have these parades where the content is it's a little risque and shocking, okay? And in some cases, folks who maybe were not aware that this sort of content was going to be presented. Perhaps they brought young children who they feel are not ready to have this sort of content explained to them yet. I think it's people's problem. Not that they don't want their kids to see it. It's the awkwardness of having to now explain to a 4-year-old like what was just presented here. You're being the throat rammer when you do that. Although I would recommend that by now, people should probably know that like the LGBTQs know how to party, man. You're going to show up at the Pride Parade like they partying. They having fun in their way. That's why they called it a Pride Parade and made it pretty clear that like it's going to be a bunch of gay and in between folks and we partying. And then when you show up there and make a big stink about it, look, I brought my kids to this knowing damn well this was going to happen. Now you're the throat rammer. You could have been like, I don't know why the hell I would go to that. I don't want to see that, but do anyway just to get mad. What do you want me to feel? Mind your own business. Speak your truth. Accept others, though, because if you're not going to change your mind when presented with a reason to do so, you're not going to get anybody else to do so either. Nobody learns from being yelled at. Nobody learns by being insulted and called stupid. They just will now not. They'll just think you're an asshole, and whether your message is right or wrong, it doesn't matter because they're not listening to it. Long I've been at this now, almost an hour. I guess I'll kick it another 10 minutes with y'all. Are we enjoying ourselves again? I'm trying to maintain eye contact with the camera. So it looks like I'm looking right at you. So I've not been reading the comments. What's happening? Winning Streak said, do not mistake my kindness for weakness. So many people will. And it's almost on you. That turns into the like fool me once kind of thing. But people will in fact do this. People will in fact take advantage of a generous person or of a helping hand. That comes with life experience. Being able to spot it, identify it, perhaps even red flag it before it happens. No, fuck that person. I don't do that. It's okay. You don't have to like everyone. You can be civil though, in the way that you are when you pass someone in the store. You're like, how's it going? That's all you got to do. How you doing? Acknowledge their existence and move on. Like, who cares what color hair they got, or in my own personal, who cares what kind of car they drive? I mean, on my personal quest through life, I've been trying to be less judgmental, to remind myself I don't wear that person's shoes. I'm not having their day today. Because it makes all the difference, and it really temper you, because then what you can hope is that other people will extend that to you. And then once we all start doing that, minding our business, treating each other as humans, and being civil, friends, stop me right there. But I mean, how much different is the whole thing going to be? Where instead of everyone's first response is to respond with anger and barbed insults, instead to be like, I hear you, man. I've never thought of it that way. Even if you don't fucking mean it, just say it, because it's not what you meant, it's what you said. Well, I know what you meant, yeah, but it's not what you said. And so that's all you got to do is, but engage other people. Don't hang around with people that only agree with you. Oh, yeah, man, totally. Laugh at all your jokes. I hate that. I know for a fucking fact I ain't that funny. Sometimes in a relationship, somebody's got to be like, nah, you know what? Fuck that. I don't agree with that. And then state their claim otherwise. And it might be a revelation or an epiphany for one or the other of the parties involved. I never thought of it like that. When I use the word ignorance, that's what I mean. I don't use it as an insult. It's not an insult for someone to not know something. That's what ignorance means. I'm ignorant of it. I didn't know that the concept of said thing even existed. I never thought of it that way, which is often the simplest way to get to somebody. But when somebody presents a viewpoint that you either don't agree with or is wrong, and you immediately just fly up their ass, dox them, call them an asshole, block them, and report them, drown them with memes about how stupid they are, well, then they certainly are not going to listen to anything else you have to say. And they're going to continue blissfully ignorant on their path through life. You could have taught them something, but you chose to insult them and berate them. And in that regard, if any of you are, perhaps in teachers or parents, of course, or teachers and caregivers of children, especially remind yourself of that. Do you suppose you could learn to do math with someone who's mad at you, yelling at you, not understanding what you don't get about this? Patience, civility. The other person is a person. That's what they want us to forget. Propaganda's purpose exists to remind one half of people that the other half are not people. That's what propaganda is. What news, mainstream media sources, and government sources is. Our side right, their side wrong. Disregard it. Look at your fellow person, your neighbor, that guy walking down the street, and remember that they are a person too, walking in shoes that you don't. Be civil. You don't have to be friends with everyone. And don't worry about whether people like you either. If you set out to just be unlikable, don't be surprised when people don't like you. Don't be likable for fake reasons just because you want people to like you. That's a narcissistic, conceited thing. I don't know how to do that. But you don't have to like everybody, and you don't have to beat yourself up if people don't like you. There are people I don't like. There are people I like. I certainly hope there are people that don't like me. That'd be just too weird. And what's even weirder is if there was like people that liked me at all. I would. It's so much easier to be unlikable. Why people do it? Because to be likable, you have to reach out and you got to be civil and humble and reciprocal with people. Nobody does it. Nobody does it because it's easier to be an edgelord on the internet. It's easier to call. It's easier to own the libs instead of try to just talk to them about it. And like I said, most of your troubles will boil down to that somebody simply didn't understand. There wasn't malice. They didn't mean to sound mean. They did not understand the situation. I'm talking this shit for so long. I would have usually drank like 4 of these by now. You guys are really helping me not get hammered too early. That's my first one too. I'm like killing it tonight. In interest of beer after work chat, crack a beer in case anybody else. Is anybody else drinking here? Is anybody else drinking a beer? Hanging out, listening to me talk shit? I thought I made some good points. Basically, I'm pretty sure it's just winning streak at Hudson Valley Prepping and Surviving here. Yardbirds is here too. I like that guy. What else is happening? What's happening? Dressed like that, I'd be arrested. Right. Now, okay, I think we're back to the Pride Parade sort of thing. I don't think anybody cares what you wear anymore. And a quick trip to Walmart can confirm this. I don't think people give a fuck what you wear, what you. It's just like, yeah, there's another dude in a dress. People, they don't care. No, they've seen it all. They've seen it all. There is nothing new under the sun. Nobody fucking cares. I wore a skirt and fishnets, just dressed in what we'd call drag, all the way back in high school for whatever reason, because I basically thought it would piss people off, and it did. I was told, ironic now how the times have changed, I was told I needed to cut my shit, essentially, to paraphrase, and to go to take that dress off, all right? And they were like, you can take the dress off or you can go home. I would love to see how that exact thing would, now I'm not saying me, a 40-year-old fucking person, goes to school dressed like a woman, but if a kid at the time, I was, I think 15, and I was just punk rock, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna dress in drag. I didn't think nothing of it. It was just like, this will piss them off. And sure did. But I wonder what happened now if a 15-year-old, boy, just dressed in drag and went to school. There is no way they're gonna like tell him, take that off now or you're suspended. Like you're punished for expressing, like a transgender like idea. There's no way. I mean, how the times have changed here. I almost wondered if I was like entitled to compensation for that discrimination that occurred during my education by that administration. Fuck Eminem, I'm the new rap god. I really enjoy these little talks we have. I'm sorry I am not more engaged with the chat. I don't want to think about where some of you people might steer me or what kind of questions you might manipulate me into answering, and then like, in which case incriminating, myself or possibly giving away my location. I can't have that. I don't trust you. Like, it's back to the whole, like, I think it's strange that you like me. I'm like, weird. Like, what kind of weirdo subscribes to my channel? Only the coolest ones, that's which ones. I have a lot of fun with my followers. And what I like about my channel is they're all cool people that I more or less, even if I don't know you, I know you on here, and it's cool. I like you. I don't know how to ban people, so even if I didn't like you, you'd still be here, but it's fun. I'm not monetized. I don't have a big following. I can kind of say and do like whatever I want. And a lot of times I am just kind of keeping the wheel rolling. I'm just like a hamster in a ball. Just rolling, rolling, rolling. And when you stick around to watch, I'm like, why? What are they waiting for? What do they think I'll do? What'll he say next? It's always a good time. A lot of self-analyzation goes on when you're sitting here just in front of a camera. I can't see you guys. This is like therapy session for me. I was on a lawnmower straight up all day. So I didn't talk or speak because there's no reason to. I mean, what am I going to do? Yell at the lawnmower, come on, you bitch. I probably did that a couple times, but besides that, didn't exercise my vocals whatsoever. So now I'm like all chatty, verbacious, no, loquacious. That's the word. It means chatty. You learn something every day. What did you learn today? Let's have it in the chat. I'll fuck around. I'll go long here. Nobody said I'm only here for an hour. What did I learn today? I must have learned something. I don't have to think about it. Whatever it wasn't immediately obvious. Maybe I didn't learn it yet. What y'all learned today? Have at. I'm going to wait. I'm going to let the chat catch up. You learn something every day. What was it? Did you learn it? What was it? Apparently, I learned that y'all don't even listen to me. You just say hi to each other. Let's see. Yep, that's what's going on. I wonder how much of a delay there actually is for being low latency. They're like, here's that 1.5-minute delay you ordered. Rest when you need it. And I'm going to add something to that. I learned this from my social studies teacher in high school is don't sleep. Don't try to sleep if you can't. All you'll do is toss and turn, frustrate yourself, get pissed, and turn your chances of sleep to slim or none. Instead, just get up and do something. Whatever you want to do. Sometimes I'll get up, I'll be like, fuck, there's always something to do, right? So, I mean, as long as you're not bothering nobody waking up the house in the neighborhood, I don't give a fuck if you are waking up in the neighborhood. Go out and mow your lawn at 4 a.m. I don't think there's a law against it. Sun's up, fucking mowers out. King Tut had a club foot. King Tut, yo, there's a whole like big ancient alien things about him, man. He was either born all messed up due to incestual relations among his ancestors, and he had presented with multiple physical disabilities or deformities, or they were trying to make a case that he got straight run over by a chariot and was like just real messed up from like a bad accident. That's interesting. I like that. So this kind of the facts. I love the random facts. Why do you need to know that? I don't know. One day. What else? What else do people learn? Rest when you need it. Yep, I can take it. You can go to Target in full BDSM gear and no one will care. I promise you. And at Walmart, they'll be like, aren't you dressed a little fancy, ma'am? Can you crank it up a notch? Okay. Those Walmart people, they don't give a fuck. I swear to God, they put on like, they're like, I'm going down to Walmart. I got to put on my best. It's like when the Southern women go to church and they got the big hats and they're like just to the nines. Those Walmart people do the same shit, man. They're like, you know what? I'm going out there to kill it. They going to remember me today. How they remember me, I don't care, but they will either remember me or not be able to forget. And I'm cool with both. And you know what? I can't knock that attitude. Man, how dare that dude wear fishnet stockings? That's why he wore the fishnet stockings, to just get your goat. To piss you off. That's why I used to wear black fingernail polish. People hated it. I used to catch the F-bomb from people because I painted my fingernails black, like I wasn't in a punk band. And they're like, why do you do that? I'm like, because you don't like it. It's literally why I do it. It's all about me. Now, do you see what I just did there? Think about that. Don't pay attention to things you don't agree with, or they'll keep showing it to you. That's how the algorithm works, That's how the algorithm works, You want to get yourself all mad and inflated about an issue, and you keep watching videos and digging into it and dropping that rabbit hole. The algorithm just thinks that you like this and will continue to feed you this. Who radicalized you? The algorithm did. The AI. Does it have a name? That's what did it. It thought I liked it. Fishnet's really good on the leg. I'm telling you. And you know what else? Outside of this isn't the BDSM related. You live in like hardcore tit country. Pantyhose with the feet cut out is an option. Or if you're the kind of dude that wants to keep the feet, I don't care. People are like, I don't care if you wear so-called women's underwear because I don't plan to see you in that situation. So whatever makes you comfortable, man. He wears women's underwear. I don't give a fuck. And I didn't want to know. But thanks. All right. Now I got to see. So careful what you just go sharing about other people. And also, how do you know homie wears women's underwear? I suspect you. He just wore them. You looked, you watched, you cared. You cared. You were like, make you feel some kind of way to know that your homie wears like women's underwear? How do you know that's not the more comfortable way to go? You know, you're ignorant. The word of the day. Somehow, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival was able to fight the system and was able to have restored to his profile pictures that Mark Zuckerberg's fashion police decided were not appropriate for their little community standards. He fought the decision. He appealed it. Decision came back down from up top. Sometimes we get it wrong. Your content has been restored. Sometimes they get it wrong. They didn't, though. What's funny is they were spot on with what they nailed. If their agenda is what I talked about earlier, where you're not allowed to express an opinion, like they're like, no opinions here. We don't do that. Food, pets, and fucking nature, and that's it. Cars, maybe. Don't start fighting about cars, though. Don't go Ford Chevy, because then they'll just equate that with factionalism and ban your account because you said fucking Chevy sucks. They do. They kind of do. I don't like Chevys. I don't want to start shit, though. I'm just going to leave it at I don't like Chevys, and if you do, that's great, and I appreciate you, and I bet yours is awesome. You know what? Chevys are okay. You know, it's the ones that run right and are reliable that like bother me. All the other ones are cool. That's fine. Where are we here? Some women wear women's underwear every day. Nobody bats an eyelash. But, I do it one time and nobody can get over it. Never understanding that was exactly why I did it. Because just say my name. That's all. I don't care in what context. Say my name. Am I right, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival? Say my name. That's what Mike always does. That's what I do. So I'm like, Mike. He's like, yeah, Livingston. I'm like, I'm going to teach you guys something that maybe you don't know. So if you didn't learn anything today, you can learn it today. Livingston is actually my real name. It's a true story. I was born here 200 and some odd years ago. I have worked this land and walked this earth longer than some of y'all been in America. I have seen the manor system. I walk upon it. I know it exists beneath my feet as if it still exists. Whatever the hell that means. Say my name. What else has got my goat? I wanted to warn you guys about, let's see, we already did the censorship, the freedom of speech. Problem with the world today is every event, everything is presented as unprecedented. Holy shit, oh my God, you guys, oh my goodness. You're not going to believe what happened. And you got to couch it in mystery terms and headline. You got to be like, former guy of thing like died. And you're like, Christ, now I feel like I got to click the shit. And then you click the shit and you're like, bro, like, I knew that. Or worse, I didn't care. Respect to, the former guy, the thing that died. But listen, I didn't need to know, man. I wasn't feeling you like that. It's not you, it's me. All right. The news is terrible. It's a money-making thing. They're profiting. All right. They're profiting from the media, the information itself. They're profiting on the education required to process the information. They are profiting. They're profiting and they are profiting. Everyone is profiting. Are you, one in the chat, are you profiting? Can I get a one in the chat? My Betty Lou Tower says she is. She's profiting. All right. Do tell. One in the chat, are you profiting? Are you winning at life right now? Is this the American dream? This is what it was all for? Could be worse, maybe. Yeah, probably. Could be better. Hard to imagine. Am I a profit? Not particularly. I'm actually an expense, bro. I cost motherfuckers money. Okay, I don't pay to go places. People pay me to go places. How that works. I set that up because I'm uh, in the old country they call it an oligarch. Hell no, yeah. Some say I'm broke as fuck. Who in here? You know, we all live in paycheck to paycheck, or in some cases, I'm sure benefit pension check to pension check, whatever. Ain't nobody sitting back got loot, got a nest egg. They took all that away from us. They actively campaigning that people should not retire. They never expected. Back in the day, union job used to be a good thing. Be a good thing. Fucking retire at 50, killer pension, set you up for life, doing real work. It was a good thing. It worked. Now there's too many people. The union don't mean the same thing as it did. The union's profiting. The union's profiting, but you're getting paid better than other people, but you're not profiting. You're still just the laborer doing the thing while the big wigs drive the cool cars and got it like that. Aristocracy. Nobility. The haves. They never left these shores. The revolution is a lie. It didn't happen. Not the way we're told. The revolution was brought about, funded, and carried out by the same aristocracy that it fought against. They paid the army. They paid the peasants to fight the redcoats who were themselves peasants. While the rich guys did the thing. The plantation owners, the big wigs. The Founding Fathers are no different than their English counterparts. We're simply religiously taught to revere them in sort of a cult of personality fashion. Can't knock them, Founding Fathers. But when you break it down and turn it all gray, they're just a bunch of rich guys who paid the poor guys to fight the war. Wouldn't have won if they didn't pay those poor guys, as they almost found out at Valley Forge. And the aftermath of the war was that the rich, we call them patriots, but we could easily just the same refer to them as profiteers. These men took a gamble with their fortunes and livelihoods by opposing the crown. They funded the colonist war effort. When we won, those men stood up with their hands out. Payment due. And so it were. And what happened then was it gave birth to what a forgotten era of American history called the manor system, where it was essentially the same thing. Wasn't a king, there was a lord. And then there was the people that served the lord, the manor lord. Hell. The phrase sticks around today. Landlord, it's a guy that owns it and you pay him to live there and do everything. This system was written and codified to law by none other than Alexander Hamilton himself, founding father that he was. Because he needed to pay back his rich friends who funded this effort, which, had it failed, they would have been hung as traitors or worse. They put a lot into this. But the system did not disappear so much as evolve. Taxation. How do you like your taxation with representation, America? It's part of American history that gets left out. You're taught the cult church part of it. We right, they wrong, we won, they lost. So much more gray than that. America is, besides technological advancement, America's social system, very much the same as it was in 1776, 1800s. Big rich guys own everything. Everyone else works for them. Huge, big, everyone is just rich beyond your wildest dreams, but they tell you it's attainable, but it's not. And if you're not born into it, you don't get it. Does any of this sound like monarchy and aristocracy? to you. The system exists right here. They call it something different. It's the greatest lie ever been told, that America is free. What exactly the fuck is free in America? Go ahead and go get something for free. You know what you can maybe get for free? Something on the side of the road that somebody don't want no more. That's the extent of your freedom in America. Anything else is going to cost you. Except kindness, civility, a willingness to treat another person as such. Mind your own business. That's the cure for America. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Cool run-ins.